National Paddock Survey is a national project, so we're working in Western Australia, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales and Queensland, and it's all about growers trying to get a grip on how big the yield gap is. And the yield gap is the difference between potential yield and the actual paddock yield. CSIRO is our research partner and they are responsible for doing the analysis. There's a very good reason why farmers need to know what the yield gap is. We are now getting very close to being able to grow as much grain as we can for every millimetre of rainfall that's falling. And at the same time, the cost of production have gone up significantly too.
We realised that in the dry years that gap was very small, but in those wetter years it's really large.
We are going to have some problems in the future if we don't find out how to close the yield gap even further, or we find ways to decrease our cost of production so that farmers can remain profitable.
It's really hard to benchmark against until a program like this has come along.
We like supporting these sorts of programs, so the national program is a good opportunity to improve our information to our farming business to give us our best yield opportunities.
We've had really good experiences in working with BCG in a number of trials over the year, and it's really provided beneficial to the farm in the past.
We're working with about 20 farm consultants and farm groups, and they're doing all the paddock work, the monitoring, together with the farmers.
We record the data of our sowing times, our spraying times and the chemicals we use on there. We supply all that information.
So my involvement in the National Paddock Survey is conducting the in-field assessments for the 10 paddocks that BCG is involved in, and also collecting the farm records. So through the data that's collected throughout the season, we can look at what things, whether it be weeds, disease or some other constraint that's limiting production and creating those yield gaps. And from that we can generate the reports at the end of the season that go back to the grower to highlight how his crops performed, what it could have achieved, and therefore what the gaps are and what's causing that gap.
One of the major parts of the project is yield maps, and yield maps are really important for us to identify where in the paddock the high yielding parts are and the low yielding parts. And the low yielding parts of the paddock may have a different constraint compared to the high yielding parts of the paddock.
By knowing what those constraints are, they can make better informed decisions in terms of managing those areas of their paddock. The growers that are directly involved in the project will have the short-term benefits through the course of the project, but through the reports that are generated from the project as well, it's hoped that further growers will also gain benefit from the farmer-to-farmer learning, and also, just knowing that the guys that are involved in this project are usually at the forefront of production and their gaps probably aren't so big.
I firmly believe in farmers learning off other farmers, and all their information is freely available. If we share the information, we'll get good information back.
The positives of the project so far from a national perspective are probably being able to work with a wide range of consultants and researchers that are all involved in the project. From a more local scale, working closely with a select few growers, understanding their farming systems and also understanding the families that are involved in those businesses, because not only are we working with the people that are currently running the farms, a lot of them also got their children involved, so they're looking at what's happening in this project as well.
The relationships with those researchers and encouraging people to be engaged in this sort of trial work is really important to us.
There is a real opportunity for all growers to get an improvement.